right, here is the Romans MPP with Eco Chassis 21700 battery in it. We'll start off with very simple, put a blade in, take it out, and removing the blade plug. We'll go more then into what's in the chassis, and then eventually we'll get into a little bit of a style demo on what the config is loaded for this Profi. I'm wearing gloves on this one, which is a little different, but this thing collects fingerprints just by looking at it, and I don't really feel like cleaning it again today. It'll probably make number 10. But very simple to start off. This is a one-button setup, uses this control box button right here, and then also gesture controls, as you will see later on. Blade retention is the small thumb screw here, not the one on the top of the shroud. This will actually take the shroud off, but it is this one here that's attached to the control box. A small twist, out comes the blade plug. It is spring-loaded, as comes with the Dagobah Swamp 5280 blade holder for the Romans MPPs. Just going to lay that outside the camera for right now. If you look inside, we do have a stock Eco NeoPixel connector. And then inserting the blade, my little demo 7/8 blade here. Slide it in, you'll feel it hit the pins. Just kind of snug it down against those pins. And again, just give it a little twist, and then it's in nice and solid. We'll go more into the use with the blade later. So I'm going to take that one out. And now we will go into removal of the chassis and actually activating the chassis itself. You'll see very easy removal of the pommel first. And then down in here, you have a kill switch that will turn the saber on and off.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
Which we're going to turn back off again in a second. But from there, basically on and off, that's everyday use. And then if you want to take the removable battery out, you'll actually slide the chassis out, which I'm going to do here, so we don't activate the swings and create some very loud noise. Don't stick your finger too far in here, you will hit the speaker, but just along this front edge, and then it pulls right out. You have then, coming from this end, the speakers under this side, as you can see right here, 28 mil from Smuggler's Outpost. You have a 21700 battery, which, there you go, from the Custom Saber Shop. The 5280 chassis, which obviously is, on this case, 3D printed from Shapeways. I've spiced it up a little bit with some brass mesh in the two sets of fins. Originally put those fins in to really cut down on the amount of material that goes through the Shapeways print, because the more material, the more pricey the chassis costs. But when I got it in hand, just felt right to put this in and kind of spice it up, make it look a little bit better. It also brings through some of those brass accents, like the two nuts here, as well as the tactile switch on the front. There is a push through here. You can use your finger to actually push the battery a little bit. And I've got big fingers. You can see I've got that battery down a little bit, and then it's enough. You can actually lift it all the way out. I'm not going to take it out right now because we are going to go through demos. But you have your Profi 2.2 here. Easy access to the SD port. Just because of where it's located, the SD card, I can get it out by hand. It is way easier with a set of tweezers or a set of needle nose pliers. Just grab it, out it comes, and you're good to go. The only wires that you see are coming in from the tactile switch, comes up through here, and then they drop down under the board. So there's really no wires you can snag or grab on anything. Even plugging the board in and out, there's a stop behind it, so the board will not slide back or forward. So it should keep you pretty safe. And again, Eco install that I think is, I'll call it an Eco Plus. It's a little bit more than that. which I will show you right now. So I've added some pixels on the underside of the board to give kind of a glowing chamber look behind that brass. It does change different with different styles, but there's a number of fonts on here, and I'll quickly run through a couple. All of these were requested by the user. There's 4 Vader fonts and then a couple of others here. So this first one should be, if I remember right, Rogue Commander. And twist off. Second one is Rogue Commander. And again, you'll notice as it bounces against the table there, the lighting. Swing on.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
I won't be playing any of the music tracks just so this doesn't get flagged on YouTube for any copyright violations. But there are music tracks to go with every font. The music track for one of them is the hallway scene from Rogue One, just because it's Vader and you've just got to have the hallway scene. It's great.
I can't kill my own father.
Lots of Vader fonts on this one, of course. Lots of red.
What is it? Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
So this will be a New Hope graphics. Obviously, blue blade. Blue, we'll call it fake chamber.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
So this one's pretty neat. I've got the chamber mimicking Luke's arrows on his hero saber from the cave scene. And if you'll watch, and then the camera might drown it out, different pixels light up depending on the two. So it really does kind of try and replicate the actual arrows being slightly separated. And then of course, if this is Luke's hero ROTJ, got its nice green blade. And then when it's on, only the green arrow is actually blinking.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Obi-Wan in A New Hope. Again, he's blue, so we've got a nice blue chamber. And a slightly different colored blue blade. It's a little bit lighter.
Master Yoda.
And then the last one that was requested is a Yoda font. And of course, Yoda has to have all of the greens. Slightly faster pulse when this one is on versus off. And then we're back to the very first one. So other than that, that is kind of the run through of the chassis. Again, it's very easy once in the hilt, and I'll show you now in a second how to put that in. But once it's in the hilt, the kill switch back here by my thumb, very, very simple, easy access to get this turned on and off for kind of everyday usage. So we should be pretty good there. To put it in, I basically line up the control box with the switch. I'm gonna move here to get around the camera. You'll slide it up, and the blade holders are pretty snug, and they only ever go in one way. There it is. So once you get it up, you'll feel it hit. Just rotate a little bit and it'll slide in. And slide the chassis till it's flush with the bottom part of the hilt. As you can see, it does not stick out. There is a small spacer in the bottom of the pommel that again pushes a little tighter on there, so you don't need a retention screw once this is in. And I better turn that on so we can put in a blade in a moment.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
Venting, the center of the pommel cap has been drilled out, so obviously there's not a ton of venting on the saber, but that's kind of due to it being the replica that it is. I'm trying to go backwards to catch it. There it is. So there's the saber, all assembled. Now that the chassis is turned on, we'll put this in. And again, one button. It is still pretty loud, just not going to be the loudest 28mm speaker saber you've ever had because that venting is just so small and restricted. But red with audio flicker on our first font. Some of these will have a spark tip ignition. Others will have like a burst of white as it ignites. I remember this one might be the hump flicker. There's audio flicker, there's pulse, there's hump flicker. And I've tried to make a couple of variations on between like the pulse and a few other things. There you saw the light white and blue in retraction. That was kind of an unstable, bright, whole blade ignition.
There is still good in him.
That's a standard ignition. I don't think there's any pilot light, no spark tip. And this is definitely a pulse. If you watch the reflection of the light on the table, it's got a very light pulse to it. This one's got more of a flicker to it.
What is it? Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
There is battle mode on this. There we go. And I will include a sheet with the saber of the controls.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
So now, retraction on the button is a hold until it turns off. It's a little bit longer than I usually like, which is why I usually use a gesture, but I just like it to turn off immediately. So that's personal preference. I use a gesture. Button is still active though.
Master Yoda.
And this, if I remember, is a solid green blade. It's a little bit lighter, or I'll say a little more off solid green towards a lime green than the Luke one, just to give a little variation on it. But most of the blaster blocks, lockups are at mid blade, so it's actually just off what the length of my little test blade is. And that is back to the front. So that is the MPP with Eco 21700. If you got any questions, by all means hit me up and we can chat through it. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks all.